The combat system in Assassin's Creed Mirage isn't super complex, but there are some hidden tricks that the game doesn't tell you about. So let's take a look at my top 10 secret mechanics you can use to take your hidden one skills to the next level and ultimately have more fun with the game. We'll start with the humble torch, the first tool you unlock and the only one with infinite uses. If you played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, then you might know that you can have some pyromaniac fun by dropping or throwing the torch on pretty much anything covered in hay and lots of other wooden objects to light them on fire. If enemies are close by, you can distract them with a bit of arson like this, but unfortunately it's not terribly effective. However, it's much more effective to simply throw the torch directly at the enemy, lighting them on fire. Then you can either let them burn to death on their own or put them out of their misery with an instant kill. You can take this one step further and burn multiple enemies at once by getting the flammable smoke upgrade for your smoke bombs. Based on the description, your smoke will now ignite if in contact with flames. What you want to do is throw a smoke bomb and then throw a torch at the cloud afterwards to ignite it. Alternatively, you can put the torch down first and land the smoke bomb on top of it. Unfortunately though, you can't use torches during combat, so if you want to pull this off while fighting, noisemakers upgraded with sparks work well as the trigger. Now, some enemies can use fire on you too, namely these flamethrower guards. If they manage to burn you before you can get to them, just stop, drop, and roll like they taught us in elementary school to quench the flames faster. Anyway, most heavy guards don't have a fuel tank, so I have some other tricks to deal with them as well. Their lower legs and feet are their weak point. A throwing knife to the leg will put them on their backs, setting them up for an easy instant kill. Like I mentioned in my key tips video, a blow dart can be used the same way, and smoke bombs are a great way to trigger an instant kill on them as well if you don't have time to line up a shot on their legs. One of the other frustrating things with heavy guards is that you can't hit them from the front at all, and it can be hard to get around the back. Later on, if you unlock the counter roll skill, you can use this to get behind them more easily. Then it works pretty well to just blow dart them in the back. Heavy guards can also be problematic because they often use a horn to call in reinforcements. However, as long as you can interrupt them before they finish the call, you'll prevent reinforcements from showing up. For style points, you can also hit the horn right out of their hand with a knife, which destroys it and prevents them from using it again. In fact, you can destroy the horn even if it's still on their hip. All types of guards can also call reinforcements by using the alarm bells. You can interrupt them while they're doing this as well, but the smarter move is to cut the rope above the bell with a knife to permanently disable it. Now, the heavy guard tactics we already mentioned aren't as effective on the elite Shakiriyya guard. These guys are definitely the toughest enemy in the game. I've found the choking fume upgrades on the smoke bombs can be pretty effective against them. This not only stuns them for a moment, but also deals some damage over time. While he's stunned, you can get in some easy damage, or you can just wait it out and let the poison damage him until he comes out of his daze. You won't be able to kill him with just one, but even on the hardest difficulty, it only takes 3 choking fume smoke bombs to kill him. Noisemakers upgraded with the weakness perk work well too. They keep him stunned pretty well, and it takes just a couple to delete his defense bar. Then you can take an easy kill. However, you won't have these upgrades for a little while, and even once you do, you might not always have enough smoke bombs on you. So I recommend your overall approach with him is to play defensively and be ready to parry all his yellow attacks. The game doesn't really explain this clearly, but parrying deals defense damage to an enemy's defense bar, which is above their health bar. If you can deplete this, you'll get a prompt to instant kill an enemy no matter how much health they have left. To make this more effective, you'll want to go for weapons with higher defense damage stats. The Initiate Dagger is a solid choice for this. It has pretty good max defense damage of 39, plus a perk that boosts the defense damage of your parries by 25 for a total of 64. You can also unlock the kickback skill to deal some extra defense damage by hitting the input immediately after parrying. The window for hitting the button is pretty short though, so you need to be quick. I found the default input of triangle on a PlayStation controller to be a little awkward to hit quickly, so I remapped it to X, which only conflicts with free running and swimming controls, so it doesn't cause any issues during combat. So with that Shakiriyya guard, parry as much as possible and then take the instant kill as soon as you get it. Remember, you can also parry their knife throws, and if you can, try to jump in with a light attack or knife throw of your own when they go to use a healing potion. Don't worry too much about them healing though. Their potions don't recover defense damage, and remember, if you can get the defense bar down, it doesn't matter how much health they have. Similar to the defense damage mechanics, the game also doesn't really explain that you can dodge cancel pretty much anytime you want. So if you're in the middle of a light or heavy attack that you started a little too late, you can totally cancel it by hitting dodge. This comes in handy when using the kickback skill to deal extra defense damage. Basim will be locked into the animation for a moment after performing it, preventing you from moving, but you can dodge forward to get out of it a bit quicker and close the gap to your target. It's also a little unclear earlier that Bassam will only dodge roll when he's already sprinting or if you double tap the dodge button while holding forward, left, or right. However, this double tap method will use twice as much stamina. If you tap dodge while walking or standing, he'll just jump back or to the side. It's not really a big deal because you can still dodge attacks with this non-rolling dodge, but if you were wondering why he won't roll, that's why. You can also interrupt red unblockable attacks with an attack of your own if you're able to time them just right, but this can be pretty tricky. You pretty much have to execute your attack before the enemy's animation even starts. However, what's more effective is chaining together heavy attacks to stun lock enemies. If you just keep busting out heavy attacks, you can stun lock enemies fairly easily, preventing them from retaliating. I still think the best tools to unlock and upgrade first are knives, smoke bombs, and blow darts, but the trap tool becomes pretty powerful later on, especially with the increased duration, wide burst, and lingering knockdown upgrades. With these enhancements, you can easily knock enemies down with traps and then run in to finish them off with instant kills. It's also worth noting that you can quickly use traps along with smoke bombs and noisemakers by hitting the inputs shown here when aiming. That's a great way to, for example, pop a quick smoke bomb while in the middle of combat. Later on, you'll also unlock the assassin's focus mechanic. Of course, it's pretty fun using it to pull off some stylish kills, especially since you can trigger it any time, even while in midair. But I think its best use is actually as a mobility tool. You'll often need to access hard to reach areas, like walls protected by spikes that prevent climbing. So instead, you can find an innocent guard and relegate them to being used as a teleportation point to get yourself up there super easily. Now, this last tip isn't directly for combat or stealth, but it's related because you need a lot of the component item to upgrade your tools. You also need ingots and leather, but I found I had plenty of those from regular looting by the end of the game. Components definitely become the limiting factor. The easiest way to get them is from trader merchants. Of course, you'll need some coin to purchase these, so definitely be looting all the pots and basket you see as you play, and do a bunch of pickpocketing to get some extra trinkets to sell for coin. By the way, I've noticed there's actually 2 rarity levels for coin pouches. The ones that glow gold under Eagle Vision have a higher chance for better loot, while the silver ones are more basic. But even if you have plenty of coin to spend on components, you'll also notice that traders share the upgrade resource inventory. So you can't just run around to all the merchants and load up on lots of resources. Once you clean out a trader, they'll all be out of stock until you advance the main story to the next stage. This means you want to be buying as many components as possible between main quests. This also means that if you forget to do this, you could end up later in the game without enough components to finish upgrading your gear and no way to get the traders to restock. Don't worry though, you can get components some other ways too. The best way I've found is to collect all the Dorwish trinkets and return them to Dorwish. This just requires finding the gold hand icons on the map, pickpocketing the offending citizen, and taking batches of trinkets back to Dorwish, who will reward you with lots of resources, including a healthy amount of components. You can also get some more components by completing the contracts on the boards at the bureaus. Sometimes it can be a bit tricky to find the person you're looking for though. So as a bonus tip, let me also show you how to use Enkidu to do this in case you're not familiar with eagle mechanics from previous AC games. Once you're controlling Enkidu, you'll notice yellow indicators on screen with an arrow on them. Turn Enkidu to follow these arrows and the interface will turn into a circle. This circle will contract and the sound effect will increase in frequency as you get closer to something that can be uncovered. Keep scanning around to zero in until you get a chime and indicator icon, which will often reveal an NPC you need to talk to. Alright guys, I hope you found these tips helpful, and if you did, leaving a like would be much appreciated. And I've got a bunch more tips you'll want to check out in this video right here. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.